can mute it.
All right. And there we go. I think we are live. Aloha Manga Club, and may the 4th be with you on this amazing Saturday. Wow, it is Saturday morning. We are meeting with Yomu Youkai, personal favorite of mine because the quality of her videos visually is, I believe, a step above mine, and her content is always on point. So Yomu, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy I got to sleep this time around.
I'm happy I got to let you sleep. It's a very important thing when you get to sleep in. Like last night, I went to go see Avengers Endgame. Didn't get home until midnight. Sydney had to be up at like 6 o'clock for work.
Ouch.
I felt terrible for her, if I'm going to be completely honest. I definitely slept in until like 8:30, but the cat woke me up twice.
Yeah.
And
Our
now,
cats they figured out what like cabinet the food is in, so they keep like banging it open. And we're not getting a lot of sleep.
you got to start childproofing those cabinets.
Yeah, we're gonna actually have to get locks because it's like half duct tape right now, like to keep it shut.
Duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. I went to go see a show on Wednesday, a comedy show about a guy named Red Green, and he just straight up, his theory is duct tape fixes everything, and he's not wrong. I haven't met a problem that duct tape can't solve. Broken leg,
Right.
Duct tape it. Bad haircut, duct tape it. It's the answer to everything.
It is.
So last time that we had you on, we kind of discussed, a little bit of organization, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But today, I really want to focus on everything. I want to focus on out-of-print manga. I want to talk about how you organize your shelves. I want to talk about how you find time to read. And I want to talk about, like, adventures that you go on when you are going book shopping to that amazing bookstore.
It's Pals.
The largest, if I remember the catchline correctly, it's the largest independent bookstore in the United States. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah. It's Barnes & Noble, I think, is the largest bookstore. So
That was like a step below. They're like, we're not quite here, but we're not quite here. We're somewhere in the middle.
yeah.
So, you know what? Let's start off with that. Like, Powell's, for me, Saturdays are the days that I go purchase manga. It's the day that I go out, have my adventures, and add to my collection. So, what does your day consist of when you get to go to Powell's?
Well, usually going downtown, fighting traffic, finding parking. I usually just wander the store because there's so much, and there's like anything that you could possibly want is somewhere in Powell's, and it's fun to just like wander through the maze of like sky high shelves and just see if anything pops out at you. Once I've wandered, I'll go find specific sections. Like they have the language sections. I'll get like Japanese children's books to practice reading because they're generally only written in hiragana. Or like they had the Harry Potter series in Japanese, and it's really cool.
Did you end up buying the Harry Potter series in Japanese?
No, because the 2 books that made up Prisoner of Azkaban were $100.
Wow. Yeah, Sydney would murder me for that one.
Yeah. So I picked it up. I said, this is really cool. I turned it over, saw the price, and said, not that cool, and put it back.
I'd have like gently put it back like this without breathing on it because I would be afraid that it would just burst into flames.
Yeah. I remember I had gone specifically because I wanted to see if it was still there, but they had a copy of The Giving Tree in Japanese.
What?
And I'd wanted it, but the last time I was there, it was like $43, and I'm like, that's a bit much. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, that was like the book of my childhood. It'd be really cool to have it, but it was gone.
That is sad. That's a little sad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So...
You have to have a giant wall of manga, like floor to ceiling, and these are like huge ceilings, and it's just manga.
So how do you get the stuff from the top then? Like
that's usually you have to ask for assistance. It's usually like overstock of stuff.
Okay, because I was sitting there and I was thinking like, oh, if it's stocked from floor to ceiling, like I literally, so when I go to Half Price Books, I'll go and I'll start at one level and just start going shelf by shelf, and like I'll get all the way down, sit on the floor, like pull manga out, see if I like it, and then just start at the next shelf and go over and over. If they had it where I had to climb up on a ladder, I would be terrified because I hate heights.
Yeah, and they're probably pushing their insurance boundaries with they put like rolling stools that you can sit on and stand on to like get up, because even their like customer reachable shelves are like above just being able to reach it.
You gotta jump. I've done that a few times at they'll have the bundles at Half Price Books. Like they'll take this is something frustrating about Half Price Books, since they're all kind of, I don't want to say independently owned, but they're all independently managed. Some of them will do manga bundles, some won't. Where they'll take like 5 books in the series, wrap them in saran wrap, and plop them on the top of the shelves and give you like a pretty good discount. But they have them at the very top. But one of the stores, they straight up took, well, I think it was Ranma, half Ranma, one half, whatever you want to call it, and they saran wrapped it, and they put it on the shelf for $30. It was like a penny more. Like it was something. It was actually cost more money for them to saran wrap and put it on the shelves than it did for them to be individual. And I was like, that's not a deal. Like that's the exact opposite of a deal.
And it's kind of, I noticed I was on Right Stuff, and I was looking at like the box sets versus just buying them individually, and there was no price difference. The box sets were usually like a few cents more, so they could round it up to the 99 cents or whatever.
And then they also do, but then the only reason why I like them being bundled like that is if they're like, oh, you get one item 50% off. I was like, boom, I know which item I'm getting. That one. And it's actually gotten to the point where Sydney and I will plan it out. Like we'll walk into one of the stores and we'll have the 50% off coupon, and we'll each buy a different manga bundle from me, because she's very supportive and loving. And I know she's not watching this right now, but I love you, honey. Thank you so much. But I love going to the bookstores and seeing what's on the inside. It's such an adventure every single time. So is Powell's all new? Is it all, I'm still trying to understand it. Is it new? Is it used? Is it a combination? So does that mean they're, what is that called? Their stock cycles through frequently?
Yeah, so the new stuff, it cycles as much as like a normal bookstore. There's always new stuff coming in, but then they're there for a while too. But then there's also used stuff that they rely on people selling it to them. And in Portland, you get quite a diverse group of books coming through. And they have like a special room that's specifically like rare and valuable books. It's like first edition copies of like super popular series and stuff, and or like old like a Bible from the 1600s or something, stuff like that.
I would love to see. Actually, a Bible from the 1600s sounds like it would be really, really interesting. Like,
yeah, they're expensive. They're for sale, so you can buy them, but they're all very expensive.
Way too much money.
Yeah, but it's really cool to walk through and like see what they have.
But are there any other bookstores in Portland that you can go to that are just not quite as big, not quite as interesting, but still have an okay selection of manga?
I mean, there's Kinokuniya that's not like used. They're out in Beaverton. They're opening a store in Portland. They're taking over one of the like old original like theaters in Portland. But that's where you can go if you like want Japanese manga. They have like their section of magazines and books and manga that are in Japanese. They have English as well, and they have like art books from games and all that sort of stuff.
Sounds really interesting. Do they have any vintage stock in Portland?
Of like manga?
Well, there's a store in the Midwest that I'm pretty sure it's a chain at least. I'm not sure how many there are, but it's a chain called Vintage Stock. And what they do is they buy and sell games, manga. They sell so much, just like, oh, I think it might only be okay, no. I just want to double check. It might just be a Midwest chain, but they buy and sell manga all the time, and like a huge selection of games. And I get to go there every now and then, but they sell the manga for full price at $10.99. I'm like, you're not gonna get me on this one. You're 2 blocks away from the half price bookstore, and I can get most of this for less than half this.
Yeah. And we don't have anything like that, at least that I've found. Pretty much if you want a used bookstore that's going to sell manga, Powell's is about it. We have a lot of bookstores, but most of them don't stock manga, which is weird considering we're like a sister city to Sapporo.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like massively wrapped in Japanese culture in Portland. So you'd think like more places would want to sell Japanese comics, but they don't.
They're like, no, we're fine. We're just keeping the food kind of Japanese. Other than that, we don't need anything.
Well, and really, Owajimaya is the only like Japanese grocery store. We have H Mart, which is Korean, and then Fubon, which is usually more like Thai and Chinese.
Interesting. Yeah, no, in KC, we have a bunch of Asian markets, but we don't have any like specifically Japanese markets. But where I live, I'm about 2 blocks away from 3 different Mexican grocery stores, which is really awesome because they like make fresh tortillas every day. Oh, and I love fresh tortillas. Like you throw some butter on there, a little bit of salt while it's still warm, and eat it. Your life will be changed. It's a delicacy, which I didn't know about until I moved to this neighborhood. But so why is Portland so steeped, like so partnered with Japan? Like, do you know why? That's something that I actually didn't know until you just mentioned it.
Well, firstly, we have a large Japanese population here. We're also, like I said, we're sister city to, I believe, Sapporo.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, and then we have I think both Oregon and American Japanese Culture Society are here. We have a monument on the waterfront to Japan, I think from like the war. We have our whole waterfront is like sakura trees. We have like a proper like blossom festival every year, and a lot of music. We have the Japanese gardens here that they have a lot of, like, I missed it because it was expensive, but they have like no performances and stuff. So we have a lot of the culture here.
That sounds so cool. Like I'm really, really jealous. Like, have you been like, so were you born in Portland or did you move to Portland? If you don't mind.
I was born in Arlington, Texas, but we moved here when I was like really little.
Okay, so you've been in Portland basically your whole life. Like,
Yeah.
Was being surrounded by Japanese culture, do you think that's part of the reason why you're so enthralled by manga? Or is there a different reason?
Probably, I don't know. I remember like my true first anime was probably Pokemon, like most people. But I remember just like staying up and seeing Toonami, and like they would run them, and I was just like, oh, these are cool, and like the stories were more unique than like the kind of American stories I was used to. And yeah, just I'd always kind of had an interest in East Asian cultures because my grandparents traveled a lot, and specifically to like Indonesia and stuff. So my whole life had been like a little bit in East Asian cultures. So I kind of grew up with like an interest in it kind of being a little bit part of life. And then yeah, it's everywhere here. So it felt very natural to have like the stories and manga and stuff because it's like, oh, well, half of life in Portland is kind of.
It's actually really, really interesting. Like, I started reading manga because I did karate when I was 5 or 6. Other than that, I would probably not have started reading manga, and I would not be here at this moment in time. So thank you, karate, for that. And I actually got to meet the originator of Okinawan-style karate, Kaicho Takaishi Kinjo. Super nice guy. Did not speak any English. It was really hard to communicate with him. He was like, oh, He'd like wag his, when he came over from Japan, he'd like, if you did something wrong, he'd just like wag his finger at you, then walk over, move your hands around to do it the right way, and you're like, and then he'd give you a thumbs up. You're like, that is so weird, but, and then he'd also bring over coffee candy. And I don't like coffee, so I didn't never get to have any. Super, super sad. Super duper sad. But have you gotten to rearrange your shelves lately, or have you maintained your alphabetical order?
I've maintained. I think whenever I start to run out of room, I'll probably get rid of the letters and let everything kind of mush together. But I've got like the whole bottom shelves are empty, so I've got probably room for another 60 manga or so before I have to think about doing that.
Yeah, I'm running into issues right now because I'm almost on my last shelf, and I bought a new bookshelf, less than 3 months ago. So I might have just a little bit of trouble. But I might need you to come over here and help me organize, because right now they're just in random, well, they look pretty that way order instead of alphabetical.
Yomu's professional manga organizing services.
I mean, you could make some. You could do a lot of great things with that. So if you were to rearrange your bookshelves right now, and it could not be in alphabetical order, how would you do it? Oh, the tough question.
My other like go-to, if that also goes for like I can't do author alphabetically, my other go-to is usually like by color, but that's kind of hard when some of them fluctuate what color their spines are.
All of mine fluctuate. Like One Piece would just be all over the board for me.
Yeah.
Because it's...
I like the ones, and I wouldn't even mind the ones like Kami-sama Kiss where it's like white and then the title changes color, because those would still kind of constitute a white spine to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones like Vinland Saga where like the whole spine is a color, I can't. I'd probably go by publisher or size.
Publisher or size? What happens if the series changes publisher?
I'd be very sad. I don't think any of mine change.
I don't think it happens very often, but I know it does happen every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh man. But see, I don't know how, if I had to arrange mine in alphabetical order, I don't know if I could do it. I think I'd run out of space on certain shelves.
Yeah, mine kind of not so much at the moment, but I remember when I first did it, I had some like my Demon Prince of Momochi house. It was like started up here and then went back here. Right now they kind of happen to line up, but I also had some that would like start on one shelf and then I'd have to like bring it to the other shelf and over.
Man, yeah, the only way that I could fit all mine on my shelves by making the manga go from here to like lying on its side to stack all the way up, because I can get 15 to 17 tall that way, but in that same space you can only get like 9 wide. So how would you consider, to save yourself space, would you consider turning some of your series on their sides to stack them up?
Yeah, it would depend. They'd have to be the same size.
Wow.
I wouldn't want like jagged edges. Some of the series, it would also depend, because like I might be able to fit like banana fish that way, but I don't know if I'd like multiple series, or if I had like part of the series stacked sideways and then part of it normal, like that would probably bother me a bit.
Yeah, my shelves aren't quite big enough, so the way that I have to do mine is, so I'll use One Piece as an example. It's all one top shelf right now. And so you go along, I got 2 columns going straight up, like 7 books this way, and then another column this way, because it's not quite wide enough to go 4 stacks tall, which is so sad. Like, I'm half tempted to just start making custom bookshelves so I can make them just wide enough so I could do 4 columns, which would save me so much time and space.
Yeah.
And then the other problem, and this one sounds super petty, but like you said with the jagged edges, the Monster Perfect editions are just so much bigger than the rest of the manga that I own that they protrude on the shelf like that much past the series that it's next to, which I think, if my eyesight is correct right now, is Rave Master. And it looks like I can see the white edges, and I like, now that you pointed it out, it's bothering me. Why did you do this?
I'm here to ruin your day.
Oh man, I know you are. But I'm gonna learn so many like helpful like organization tips from you.
Hopefully.
I got to be inspired by somebody. Like I said, you are visually my superior when it comes to making videos. Like your lighting is on point. Like the framing is ridiculous, and I'm so jealous.
Oh, thank you. I struggle so much. I can't wait for the day I can afford a camera with like a flip screen so I can actually like see what's going on.
Oh, when
Because with
I
the phone, I can't see like if something is actually in frame or not. So I have to like guess and be like, okay, I think if I stay like within this point in my shelf, something's in, and then I'll like go watch the footage. And I thought it was framed like this, but it's framed like this or something. Just like, oh God.
I use the front camera on my phone, thankfully, because it's good enough that if the lighting's good, you can't notice, but it has automatic focus. So if I move, it's like, and it'll like rearrange itself. I'm like, stop! I didn't move forward like 5 feet, guys. I moved forward 2 inches. You don't need to rearrange that much, because my phone doesn't get fuzzy, so it also has no depth perception to it, which is super annoying. But what camera are you looking at getting? Do you have any idea yet?
I don't know. I keep like looking at like what other YouTubers use, but I find most of the YouTubers that like have cameras are like professional, so they have like the $3,000 cameras and stuff. And I'm like, I don't need that much.
Well,
So
like I use the um, Canon. Actually, here I have the box all ready to go. It's like I knew what you were gonna ask me. I didn't. I just happened to have it sitting next to me. The Rebel T5i series. Oh god, there we go. Here we go. Can you see?
I was thinking Rebel because people seem to like that one a lot. So
I really, really enjoy it. And the T5i we got, you can find them used, especially since they came out with the new one pretty cheaply. Like, I think Sydney got me that one for less than $400, which is, don't get me wrong, that's expensive. That is expensive to me. That is very, very expensive.
$2,000.
But yeah, we're not talking, $1 billion.
Yeah.
And she bought it for me for Christmas, and I was just so excited. It was one of those moments that when I so the story behind the camera, and I don't know if I don't think I've told anyone on YouTube this story yet, so you get to hear the story firsthand. Is I kind of knew that she was gonna buy me a camera, but I didn't know which one, and so and I was looking online, like I'd look online constantly day after day after day to try to find something that I wanted so I could point it out to her. And I finally found there was a Canon T5i for sale. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. She's like, hey, I'm going to go. And then that same day, I didn't send it to her yet. She's like, hey, I'm going to go buy a Christmas present. And I was like, oh, okay. And then about 10 minutes after she got home, I went to look at the cameras again online, and the camera was gone. Like, it was offline already, and I went, oh no. So I knew for a month that she had the camera. And like I kept having videos that I wanted to film. I was like, oh, I want that camera. I want to use that camera so bad. Like, is there any way that I can sneak it out of the room to set it up so I can use it? But so I knew about it for a month beforehand. She's like, how did you know? She's like, how did you know? I was like, well, because I used context clues and depressingly figured it out very, very, very quickly. But it all comes down to personal preference. Like, I'm looking in Portland to see if they have any flip out cameras for you, because I always do I always go through Facebook Marketplace. It's cheaper and better. It's always the risky part is having to meet somebody that you don't know, which is why you always take
Portland is
backup.
the human trafficking capital of countries.
Yeah. Thankfully, being in Kansas/Missouri, we don't have to worry about that quite as much. But, once you get that camera, your setup is going to be the absolute 100% best, hands down. That's not even a question.
Oh, thank you. I
So
can
what?
actually zoom in so I can move my ring light back. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
I. Oh man, I can't wait till I can actually get a different lens and move my camera closer to my face. Like that sounds ridiculous. I just want my camera so I don't have to have Sydney help me set everything up. Because the focal length, like I have to have her help me get like the exact area where the focal length is. Because if I have it on automatic zoom, it like if I move forward half an inch, it'll just be and like zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, and it looks terrible on camera. It looks absolutely terrible, and I feel bad for myself because I expect such a high quality of everything.
Yeah.
So what are
Well, it's
some?
hard to do because it's like most like within the manga community, there's not a lot of people with like cameras. So, but when you like look at the rest of YouTube, people have cameras, but it's like they have like whole crews helping them. So it's hard not to like um compare yourself to like those videos. But it's like, well, they're also making like $1 million a year
Yeah,
and
they're
can afford
making.
all this stuff.
Someday we'll be making that much money as manga tubers.
Oh yeah.
I can guarantee it. We're gonna be the best manga tubers that have been around ever. Like this generation is gonna change the world. Hopefully.
We'll be the next Swedes.
I mean, it'll take a little while, but I think like the Mangatube community is up and coming. Like we're growing, we're changing, we're adapting, and things are becoming better. Like we're starting. I think a lot of us are going to start to pull focus from like not pull focus, but pull ideas from BookTube and start to copy what they're doing to kind of because they have much more success than we do. But I think that we can grow. We can grow so much, so much, and also our reading challenges are slightly easier because we're not reading 300-page books in a week.
You can exist. It's fine. Terrence is in the room trying to like be quiet.
It's okay. You don't need to be quiet. It adds more fun to the conversation if you're not, because
What's good?
See?
usually Sydney will send me messages from like usually when we have them on Wednesday night she'll send me sarcastic messages like, "Oh, I see what's going on now," or it's fun to have a peanut gallery that interacts with you while you're doing it. So
Yeah.
does Darren help you with your manga hauls? Does he point out like, "Oh, there's a really good one," or does he just kind of let you do your own? Is he like, "It's all you. It's all you."
Terrence.
Terrence. Why did I say Darren? Sorry, Terrence.
Um, I pretty much do all of my hauls and picking them out and stuff myself. The only ones that I get that are like his are for him, like opossums and that sort of stuff.
You,
Sutomu things are like his favorite. He doesn't really do anything with the videos because he's camera shy.
that's okay. That's okay. I was born camera shy, but wait, you buy him possums? That sounds adorable. Oh, you're talking about the book, not the animal.
Yeah.
Now, the ones that I buy for Sydney, because she doesn't like some of the stuff that I read, but she likes Tokyo Ghoul, Dead Man Wonderland. She had me buy her Return to the Labyrinth, which was because she loved Labyrinth with David Bowie, and so she's like, "Oh, look at this one." It's
Same.
so she had me buy volume number 1 of this, and she hasn't read it yet. And I'm about to like put it on her pillow and just go, "You must read."
I wish her luck. I got all 4 because Right Stuff was having one of their bundle sales. So it was like $12 for all 4.
How
It,
it was that bad?
so the story, I feel like it had the start of something good. Like it wasn't a terrible story, but I feel like it could have done with a little more fleshing out, and maybe a little more like I don't know, editing, or just it could have had a little more oomph. But the art was horrendous.
Yeah, the art's not great. Like I've looked at it and I was like, I literally do not want to even come close to
It
reading this
gets
thing.
better like later in the series, but it never gets good.
Is in like it doesn't. It seems like it's just not like it's not great art. It's not bad art. It's just like artwork. It's not like
When
Angel
you're used to
Densetsu.
like the professional, beautiful like manga and comic art, it's not good. If you're looking at it as art like objectively, it's fine. But yeah.
Well, like Angel Densetsu, the artwork is ridiculously bad. I love the manga, but the artwork. Have you ever read it?
Uh-uh.
So, just have you read Claymore?
Uh-uh.
So it's by the same author, like the same illustrator, and the artwork. They don't know how to draw noses. So they do like the two, like they do kind of like I don't want to say the pig snout noses, but they do like a singular line, and then every now and then they'll do like here with like two holes, and then they also don't know how to do eyebrows. Like their eyebrows are terrible on all of the characters.
Beautiful.
So it just looks terrifying. And I guess that's the author's style, but it looks super super terrifying, even for like the 1990s art style, which is something that is not great. The 90s art style was not great at all. That's personal opinion. I could be very wrong. I could be very very wrong. But the Dragon Ball Z was ahead of its time with how it like the sharp lines instead of like the soft like they were doing pencil sketches. But oh man. So
Shay had a question.
oh Shay, you're always over here. Oh Lord, how did I miss all this stuff? Um
One of
so
us is paying attention.
thank you. I'm trying to pop in and out. It's so much harder when Jin isn't here to also ask questions. He's such an
I have
important part
it
of this
set
life.
so like my webcam is like covering the film part of the YouTube page, but then I have like the YouTube page.
I'm so jealous. Like for me, the way that the way that this is set up for me, and Shay, I'll answer your question in a second because you'll see this. But so the way that I have to have this, I have to have the Google Hangouts like widescreen, but to also switch between every single person here, I have to have it constantly here, depending on who's talking and clicking back and forth. So if it's somebody like if I have three people a total of three people on here, it's myself, Graves, and let's just use Yomu as an example. I can like leave it so it switches between Yomu and Graves, but if I'm talking, I have to come over and actually click on my picture and then click off of my picture again when I go back to them. So when there's only two people, I constantly have to be clicking back and forth, and it's so much more work. But yes. So what are some of your do you make other videos outside of, outside of live streams? Like do you what are some of what were actually, you know what? Better question. What were some of your favorite videos to make so far with your channel?
Um, I haven't done many. I enjoy doing tag videos. I run into the problem of like I'll find a tag I want to do, like MSKOJ does is like the tag king. But I'll be like, I want to do that tag. And then like by the time I get time to do it, it's like over and done with. Like everyone's done it and moved on. And I'm like, but
You gotta do them anyway. Just have fun, do them
yeah.
anyway.
And then it's like I have trouble with the time. I actually stopped the Manga Spice Cafe for now. They were really cool boxes, but I didn't like that my channel was basically turning into like Manga Spice Cafe unboxing only. Because I didn't have time to film, but then like because it's a monthly thing, I had to get it up every month. Um, but I like doing tags, and hauls are probably my other favorite. I'm excited for my single volume one, but I have to read two more and then I can get that one done.
Oh, that's gonna be exciting.
I mean, I'm excited for that one.
Do you have any idea how long it's gonna be yet? So when you record, how do you structure your videos? Do you just kind of go in flying blind, or do you have an actual like plan that you want to execute?
It depends, like tag videos. I will like have it not like scripted, but I'll like have the questions and kind of pre-answer them so I can just answer. Um, and like the Q&A, I kind of did that too. Um, when it comes to like haul, I just kind of like stack them up and then I get in front of the camera and I just go through and say, this is what I got.
My videos, depending on which one, like my haul videos, they take me forever to get ready because I have to go through and take pictures of each series that I purchased, and then I have to take it to the computer to make sure that the picture actually looks good. And if it's not didn't look good, I have to go back and take another picture. Then I have to find the title of the manga, like a transparent title that is free from like a free vector website, and put it up. That way I can bring it up on screen when I'm talking about it. And then I have to figure out if I'm going to use any sound effects so I can do that, and if I'm going to do any transitions. It takes me forever to do those. But for my regular stuff, it takes, like, some of them, I will literally not know what I'm going to talk about until I start talking. And then by the end of the video, it's something completely different. Like the Lohali 30 for 30, no, I had no idea what that was going to be until the very end, and then it turned into the Lohali 30 for 30. Like, I felt ridiculous. I was like, oh man, you didn't read, you know what, I'm going to challenge everybody. And I got to the end, I was like, I think I just created a challenge. What the heck? Like, normally I won't plan things out. I fly by the seat of my pants. I'll do like minimal research so I can get most of my facts right. Otherwise, Flip is going to jump on me and say that, I got something wrong last time, guys. I apologize. I apologize sincerely for my latest Friday video. I said that Berserk was created in 1990. I was wrong. It was created in 1989. That's why I got to do my research.
For shame, sir.
Super embarrassing. I was very sad with myself because I try to at least get the years right. If I can't pronounce the names, I best well get the years right, because Kentaro Miura, I can't say his name. Like, how do you say that name?
Miura.
Miura?
Miura.
So I was right. Awesome. But I kept pronouncing it like for the video. I'd be like, Miura. Like, I had to literally make like 10 cuts because I kept messing up his name. So I just gave up eventually. I was like, Miura. That's how you spell it. I don't know how to say it.
Well, it's so hard if you want to like say it like right, that it's not raw, it's the.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, almost like halfway between a D, like an R and a D sound.
Miura.
Yeah, and I have trouble sometimes when you have to like do the sound rapidly, my tongue is just like, no.
See, like for me, I work in a very Hispanic heavy industry, and so I work with a lot of people from Mexico, a lot of Spanish speaking individuals. So I'm so used to like hearing Spanish and like speaking Spanish, like trading back and forth Spanish, that when I try to do like a different language, I try to throw, like, my mind is immediately like, oh, you gotta throw some Spanish in there. I'm like, no, this is Japanese. This is so wrong. Like, horchata, like, I try to roll, like, my R's will sometimes roll if I'm saying something in a different language. I'm like, no, the R's don't roll in Japanese, Brian. Stop rolling your R's. They don't even, there's like 4 R's. Don't roll. It's like stop, drop, and roll, only you can't. So you have your single volume video coming out. Do you have are there any other videos that you want to make but you don't know if you're going to be able to?
Aside from hauls, I mean, I wish I could I know at the end of the year, I'm going to do like my stats and stuff. I'd wanted to do your 30 for 30 and do like a wrap up for that. But after like day 6 or something, my life like went to heck. So I couldn't read. And then I'm like, I feel like I don't read enough every month to do like a wrap up video.
I think if you, as long as you read over like 5 or 6 volumes, you could do a wrap up video, because you're talking about, I mean, if it were to be from one series or multiple series, you could talk about what you liked about each one and do a minute each, so you get like a 5-minute video.
Yeah.
And
I'll get it.
I'll admit I ran into some issues with the Lohali 30 for 30. I did not read every single day like I wanted to and like I promised, because there were just things going on that were just made it so I didn't want to read. I just wanted to stay in bed some days.
Yeah.
But so I understand. I understand pretty well. But I'm excited for this month, and I can't wait for some of my series to come back to me. I sent out a couple volume 1s to a friend of mine. And I'm excited to get them back so I can start rereading the series, and that's how I'm gonna flip through them too, just like that, since I've already read them. Man. And then I wonder how Graves does it, because he has 4,700 volumes. The man's
gonna read them all too, hasn't he?
He's read most of them. His TBR isn't. He's like. He looked at his TBR, he's like, yeah, it might be like 15 to 20%. And I did the math. I was like, dude, you realize like 15 to 20% is like 750, right? He's like, oh, my shelf isn't that big of TBR. It's a lot less than that. And I just went, you have one full shelf of TBR, and that still might only be 5% of your collection, where the rest of us, the 5% of our collection is like 10 books. So 5% for your collection is like, 200. It's like, how is that even fair?
I also I like doing haul videos, but I'm kind of on like a buy ban because I have, for both prose book and manga, I have such a long TBR. I need to get through them before I can bring more in, but I don't have time to read.
So, okay, here's an interesting question for you. I'm going to make a video on this later, but I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. Is it okay to collect manga just for the sake of collecting manga? Not because you want to read certain series, but because you want to have them because of what they remind you of or what they mean to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's your collection and your money. Do what you want with it. It's not how I would personally run my collection, but I mean, do what makes you happy. Just don't put yourself in the poorhouse doing it. But
Too late. I put myself in the poorhouse doing everything. Joke's on Brian.
Oh, you said your name, huh?
See, that happens all the time. You know how annoying that is when I'm making a video and I do everything perfectly, but then instead of referring to myself as Lohali, I refer to myself as Brian in one scene, and I just can't even go back and change it. Like, what I want to do is pause the video, cut out the Lohali, and just pause me speaking and say Lohali in the most ridiculous, close to the microphone voice, and then carry on the rest of the video and not even address that I accidentally said the wrong name.
That'd be funny.
I'm trying to create not a second channel, because I had a channel before this one, kind of, where I was doing fitness stuff, and I want to go back to that one just to make it kind of an overall, that's not what I wanted. To make it an overall.
Exactly 400 subs. Congrats.
Thank you. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to wait till I was at 410 and make a post on Twitter going, "Ha! Finally made it to 400. It'll only take me another 3 years to get to 1,000 now."
I know. I was looking at Social Blade, because it's really funny. Whenever I look up Yomu Youkai on Social Blade, your channel comes up with the stuff. But
oh, man, I really, like I said, once I reach 500, I'm gonna do a couple different things when I reach 500 and 1,000. When I reach 1,000 is when I promise to make my Death Note diatribe, my capstone project. That's once I hit 500, I will do. I will do that. I will go out of my way to purchase Death Note, just so I can make marks in it and make a whole series dedicated to my dislike of it. It'll be this huge master level thesis capstone project of my dislike for Death Note, where I think it succeeds, where I think it fails, why I think that the authors, why I think the authors are kind of sexist.
Kind of, only kind of.
only kind of really sexist. Oh, they're such bad. The illustrator's a really, 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 really good illustrator. I love him as an illustrator, but that author just cannot write women or a good story that captures the imagination for an extended period of time. Bakuman, I liked until I started talking with you and G about it, and then I started noticing all the problems. I was like, darn it, darn you. Darn you both. Like, I like Bakuman still, but he's such a.
I even enjoyed Bakuman. Like, there were obviously those like sexist aspects to it, and it wasn't my favorite because of that. But like, otherwise, I enjoyed like the general story of it.
It's a fun story. Like, I enjoy it, but like, I didn't notice those things because I'm a guy, so I don't notice like some of those things when it's in a story because I'm just so used to it being like, oh, guy focused. Okay, I don't really read. I when I was younger, I really didn't read like girl parts of manga. I was like, not important to see. I was like, it's fine. Like when you're like 13, 14, like, I'm a terrible person anyway. Might as well just skip past this part. But it's. Oh, somebody didn't notice. So, loyal 69 2007 did not know that I dislike Death Note. I think I need to put that in my description on YouTube. The only disliker of Death Note in the world, according to literally everyone else that I talked to. Everyone else is like, "Oh, Death Note's so good." I'm like, it's, like the first half isn't terrible. The second half is the worst. But the first half isn't terrible, but it's not number one manga of all time. Like if you look at a list, sorry, I'm not gonna go on this rant. I'm not gonna go on this rant right now. It's fine.
Save it for your video.
Save it for my video. Save it for my video. Is there anything else that you want to touch on? Because I know that you need to get going in a few minutes. Is there anything that you specifically want to talk about? Anything that you want to, bring up, make fun of me for, anything like that?
I would never make fun of you.
Oh, I would. I do it all the time. It's okay. I learned very quickly in high school the easiest way to make friends is to make fun of yourself. I can't use the same jokes that I did back then, though, because I'm like 80 or 90 pounds lighter than I was. And so when I use the self-deprecating overweight jokes that I did, now it just seems like I'm an in-shape guy making fun of fat people. I'm like, no, I'm making fun of myself, but you don't get it, because I'm not big anymore.
Yeah.
Humor changes. It's super annoying. Now I have to make jokes about smoothies. It's so much harder to get people to laugh about drinking a kale shake than it is about getting winded walking up the stairs. See? You love
jokes are pretty popular in Portland.
Can I move to Portland? That sounds so much better. And I think Sydney would like the coffee because she likes those fancy coffee shops.
Oh, yeah. There's a Starbucks on every other corner, and every corner in between those an independent coffee shop.
That's how do coffee shops survive in Portland? Is it just like they're there for like 3 or 4 weeks and then another one takes its place because the first one was trying to compete with the wrong audience, the wrong demographic?
No, I mean, half of Portland is like people that have moved here and want their corporate stuff. And then the other half is very much like we have those Keep Portland Weird stickers, and they're all very, that's in support of independent businesses. So Portland as a whole is they will go out of their way to find the independent business in the city.
I feel like I would fit in very well in Portland because I hate going to like chain restaurants. I hate corporate restaurants, and I like going to new places all the time. Like some of my favorite places to eat right now, the neighborhood that I'm in is like Little Mexico, basically, is the way that it's coined in Kansas City. Within 1 mile of my house, I'm being dead serious, about 15 different taquerias. 15, and they're all amazing. And Mexican's also my favorite food. Like, if I had to choose between hamburgers and burritos, I would choose burritos.
The Unipiper.
I don't know if that makes me un-American or not, but burritos v burgers, burritos win every single time. They're just more versatile.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had a dessert burrito? Because I have, and they're amazing. It's a life-changing experience when you get like a burrito stuffed, like a deep fat fried burrito stuffed with like banana, some chocolate with some whipped cream on top.
That sounds good.
Right. So good. But I'm going to let you go because I know that you need to get doing adventuring and stuff. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, like I said?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, if anyone had questions or something, then
yes,
that's fine. But
questions.
We've got 2 minutes.
let's see. It's not called a crepe. It's called a burrito. Shay's calling me out because they're called crepes, not burritos. But let's see. Do you have any volumes coming in, like ordered online, that are going to be in here in the next couple weeks?
No, because I'm on my buying ban.
You're right, you're on your buying ban. I'm going to have to be on a buying ban probably after this month since my wedding is getting closer.
Oh, exciting.
It's exciting. And honestly, we're not paying as much as a lot of people do for the wedding, but we're still having major expenses come out. Like, huge, huge, huge expenses. Like, our photographer is the most expensive part of the wedding, but they're so good. Like, they're internationally published photographers, but they're close friends of ours. And they are top notch. Like I said.
I feel like if there's anything to splurge on, it would be the photos, because you want those to be good.
You do. The problem is, I don't care. I'm not the biggest fan of photos. It's weird, as a guy who makes videos, I don't like photos. I don't like how I look in photos. There's a reason why I wear head wraps all the time, because I think my forehead is like back to here. Like, this is how I hide my forehead. Like, I hate how I look in photos all the time. Like, I've never seen a photo of myself and gone, that's an attractive looking guy. I look at that and go, man, that guy looks like a freaking cartoon. Like, it's weird. I've never seen a photo of myself that I've been in love with.
Yeah.
But
Jen has a question.
No, Jen, you can't have any questions. Do you have any new series coming out that you're wanting to read?
I'm totally blanking on the title, but the person who did Princess Jellyfish and Tokyo Tareba Girls, she's got one about like an artist going to school coming out. And I like pretty much everything she does, so I want that one.
So the author of Princess Jellyfish was Akiko Higashimaru.
Yeah, my books are like just far enough away I can't read the author names.
And I'm trying to see if there's what she's coming out with.
Thank you, Shay.
What'd you say? Oh, Blank Canvas. What's it supposed to be about?
I don't even know. I think it's a girl going to art school. She's going to college or something. I just thought it was by her, and I'm like, done.
And the series has been purchased. Like, if Oda, for me, that would be like if Oda were to make a new series after One Piece ends, I'd be like, all right, we're in, boys. We're in for the long haul. Let's do this. Actually, a better example would be, I guess, Mashimo with Eden Zero, because I love Rave Master so much that it carried me 90% of the way through Fairy Tail. And then Fairy Tail just started to get, I have friendship on my side. And I was like, and the series is over now. He can't do it. And then Eden Zero is just so dark. Actually, or I guess Murata would be a better example. I follow Murata around to all of his series, like One Punch Man, Eye Shield 21, all that good stuff. Any other questions before we end this series? Oh, and Shay says it's somewhat autobiographical about her life as an artist. Okay.
That's cool. I'm excited.
I have no feelings one way or the other.
I can't figure out if it was like a Japan-only release, but Girl from the Other Side, the 6th volume was supposed to have like that special release that came with like a DVD of like the short film of the manga.
Mm-hmm.
But I never saw it come out. And I have the 6th volume, like the 6th volume's out, but I never saw any release of that.
That's
sad.
So,
we did answer it, Shay.
we got you, girl. Okay, you know what? We answered it. Well, let's answer it one more time just for you, Shay. Tag videos for Yomu. She likes to tag videos. And and the haul videos. And actually, I didn't answer. I just said what kind of videos I make. That'll take me the longest to make. Wow. Talk about self-centered. I apologize, everyone. For me, the absolute best, my favorite videos to make are the ones that challenge me, like, either emotionally or they challenge me technically. which sounds really, really weird, but I feel like if I'm not making a step forward in either crafting the story well, so like all of you can enjoy it properly, or if I'm not trying to push my editing techniques further so I can keep making better and better and better visual and engaging content, I don't think it's worth it for me. Like my Friday videos are how I'm trying to learn how to dive deeper and examine stories a little bit more, which will help tie into my Monday videos so I can talk about them longer and provide a better context of things. So I guess things that challenge me emotionally and technically are my favorite videos. Wow, that's such a cop-out answer. I feel like that's such a cop-out answer. So we'll do the quick sign out. Is there?
And yes, Jen, I will do your know me tag at some point.
But and Graves, I have not changed my setup yet. That's going to be in the next few weeks. But so let everyone know where they can find you, what videos you have coming up, the usual things when you're a guest on the live stream.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube under Yomu Youkai. And then coming up, I have, I guess, tag videos. I have my 26 single volume review video coming up once I finish the last two. But
and
that'll be my fun one.
I'm excited for that one. I'm so sad. I can't wait to watch more of your videos.
Thank you.
Just because they're so beautiful to look at, and you put out such good quality content. And by the way, you do know that you're at 1,155 subscribers, right?
Yes, I saw that. I'm so excited.
And I'm so far behind at 400. Someday I'll get to 1,000. Hopefully it'll be soon.
We'll throw a party.
We'll throw the party. But as always, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned for my Monday video. Since it's not Wednesday, you got to look forward to my Monday video instead of my Friday. And it is my collection tip video, the official one inspired by Miss Yomu Youkai. And she's kind of excited for it because I told her exactly what it was and how 100% inspired by her it is. So hopefully it doesn't copy her video on the subject too much. And other than that, we have some pretty exciting guests coming up in the next few days. I believe that we have on this coming Wednesday, the 8th, I think we have Andrew. I can never say his last name. Andrew will be on here. Sorry, Dindor, but it's Andrew Tsundoku. Andrew Tsundoku. I can never say that last name. We discussed this, Yomu. I can't pronounce these things. So as always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Sorry if it's a little bit at a weird time, but I wanted to get this video out with Miss Yomu so we can have a great time. But for everyone new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohali.